Okay, so hi and welcome to Let's Paint. This isn't episode 1, this is more of like episode 0.5. This is basically for beginners. Now, if you're going to be starting an army, any kind of 40k army or any kind of miniature wargaming army in general, usually you're going to want to get brand new models, ones that have not been assembled, not been painted. But if you want to save money, sometimes you're going to have to go and buy used models. These can be bought from your local game shop. Sometimes they buy used armies, used minis, used models, used whatever. And sometimes you're going to have to go on eBay. I've bought stuff on eBay, a lot of stuff on eBay, and I've not been pleased with the paint job on all of them. And the one that I really hated was when I bought this group of Necron warriors, and they came to me like half assembled. Some of them were broken, a lot of them had really bad paint jobs, missing some parts. The one that had this really weird paint job was like a Necron that was red and pink. I don't know, out of the entire group, there was one that was like red and pink. It was just stupid. But they're all repainted now. I went ahead and repainted every single one of them. But if you're buying some used models, they're probably going to have pretty crummy paint jobs on them, and the assembly job might not be that great as well. That's something that you're going to have to figure out on your own. Now, you might have to buy some bit parts to replace them, such as myself. I had to go and buy these little gun parts for Necrons. These just go on the gun tips. I had to buy replacement gun tips for Necrons because some of the ones that I bought didn't have them for some odd reason. So, bit parts is something that you're going to have to get on eBay. You can buy them pretty cheap, so you don't have to buy like a brand new box just for a few parts. You can get them on eBay pretty easily. As for the paint job, it's usually a very bad idea to just go and paint over someone else's paint job, because usually when you buy used models, you're going to get them in pretty much two qualities. First, you're going to get someone who actually knew what they were doing, they were actually a good painter, and you're going to not want to change their paint job. Even if it doesn't like clash, even if it does clash with your color scheme, you're going to want to keep it that way. For example, my friend John, he has a Tau army, and he bought a used Tau Crisis Commander suit, and his color scheme is like a white and blue. And this Crisis suit that he bought used, it was really well painted, but it was like white and purple. And he's going for like an Arctic color scheme, and purple doesn't exactly fit in there, but it was such a good paint job that he decided he wasn't going to touch it because unfortunately, John, his painting skills are not the greatest. But you might get lucky if you buy a used model that has a good paint job. If you don't buy a model that has a good paint job, it's probably going to be pretty crummy. And the person probably just slapped on the paint really thick and covered up like nearly all the details on the model. So if you go and you paint over that, you're going to be covering up the details even more, and you're just going to have like this mass like blob. There will be no detail on there. You probably won't be happy with how the model looks. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to clean the models. Now, different people swear by different cleaning techniques. Some people, they will soak the models in simple green. Others, they use purple power. Some people use Windex. I, myself, have taken those models I showed you before, and I put them in this container, and I have filled this thing completely with rubbing alcohol. It's just like 91% alcohol, rubbing alcohol. So that's what this is. And I went ahead and I've added an extra model, which is a Space Marine biker. I bought this so that I can paint it up. It's going to be a Space Wolf because a friend of mine is starting a Space Wolf army, and this is one of the things that I'm giving him for Christmas, so he can have a Space Wolf biker. So what I'm going to do right now is just show you what I do to clean these guys.
And here are the guys that you saw on my desk before. You're going to want to let your stuff soak for about 8 to 10 hours. I just leave my stuff in overnight. You're going to want to let it soak enough so that your cleaning agent will soften up all that old paint to make it easier to clean. And you clean with an old toothbrush. If you don't have an old toothbrush, just go ahead and buy a cheap new one. Just make sure it's not one you're ever going to be using on your teeth. And you're also going to need a sink. This can be a kitchen sink or bathroom sink, it doesn't matter. Just somewhere where it's easy to clean up. Now I'm just going to go ahead and take out the Space Marine Biker. I just bought him recently. He hasn't been soaking long enough to be cleaned. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull out a Tactical Marine. This guy's been painted in black, but I don't want to see any black. I'd want to see nothing but bare, beautiful gray plastic. And there it is. Gray on one side, black on the other. So let's clean the rest of it. Now, make sure you do a thorough cleaning job on this. You're going to want to look at it from all different angles. Make sure you haven't missed anything. Scrubbing all the cracks and crevices underneath the backpack, the bolter. This is why you soak the thing for so long. It softens up the old paint, makes it really easy to clean. Don't be afraid to use some pressure. If something breaks, you can just glue it right back later on. And with just a few seconds of work, the thing's all clean. Bare gray plastic, and all of that black and green paint is off. This guy used to be a Dark Angel, but I can guarantee you, he's going to be something else. Once you're done scrubbing, you're going to want to give this guy an extra thorough cleaning. You can use a high pressure water faucet, you can use a water pick, or if you're like me, you can use a sonic cleaner. I'm just going to go ahead and dump these guys in, and let them run through for a few cycles, give them that extra cleaning that they're definitely going to need.
After you've got your models all scrubbed and cleaned up, this is essentially what you're going to be left with. Now, of course, there is still going to be some residual paint on these guys, as is evidenced by this one. This was the most stubborn. It's still black, but I was able to take off enough of the black that the details underneath are rather well defined. So that's nice. We can also see some of the internals. This one, for example, is mostly metal. But the legs are metal, the head is metal, so it's half metal. And you can see that it's obviously an older one. Now, while you're cleaning these guys, obviously, some of them are going to break. Now, this is normal, and you shouldn't be alarmed because that is what we have glue for. Now, this metal one, if you have ones that are this old, the base is probably going to come off while you're cleaning it. It's just a simple job of re-gluing it. Just get some glue, put it on. So we've got an Assault Marine that came off of his base. We've got a TAC Marine that's split in half. And this other TAC Marine, his entire arm and the gun came off. No big deal, we just glue it back together. Now, there are a few things that you can do at this stage before you begin painting. For example, this Tactical Marine has a Corvus helmet. It's sometimes known as the beak helmet. You see how it's long? It's not short and stubby like the other ones. Usually Corvus helmets are given to Assault Marines because the Corvus armor, according to the fiction, is lighter than other armor. So I'm going to go ahead and take the helmet off of this guy and put it on this guy. I'm just going to switch the heads. Now, most of these guys, before I bought them, were Dark Angels. And Dark Angel's color is mostly green. So as you can see, this guy still has some green on him. The base on here was green. The reason that there's still paint on them is because they had 3 coats of paint. They were given a black base coat, and then the original owner painted them green. And then the game store owner who bought them from the original owner, he went ahead and painted them either gray or red, just so they would have a straight base coat and he could sell them easier. This guy is most obviously a Dark Angel. He has a lot of the iconography. He has the robes, and he has this shoulder guard here with the sword. What he does have, though, that's really interesting is this helmet. Now, this helmet seems to look a lot like the Grey Knight's helmet. As a matter of fact, it might be from a Grey Knight's kit. And since I'm trying to make a Grey Knight, I'm going to take the helmet off of this guy and exchange it with one of these other TAC Marine helmets, so that I can have what looks to be very close to an actual Grey Knight. Anyhows, that's all you have to do to clean your models up and get them ready for painting. Now, like I said before, this is just for beginners. If you're an experienced modeler, you already know all this stuff. So anyhows, that is all I have for you in this 0.5 episode of Let's Paint. Check back again for the first episode. That's all I have, and I am signing out.